polygraph examination, or before we understand yung kalahatan po, andito sa topic 4 why isang individual is nadidetect natin or nakukuha natin yung sinasabi nating parts ng nagkakaroon ng deceptive or non-deceptive yung subject. So dito in topic 4, we have to understand the psychophysiological detection of deception. So why we'll review about the designs or yung sa human body system na inaralan natin nung high school or maybe nung elementary. But here, looking back, so first the tripod foundation ng polygraphy. Kasi ito may mga legs. May dalawang legs, the one side and then the other side, and then dun sa baba as part ng tripod. So the first leg were the physiological leg basis or basic premise. Ang sinasabi nating isang leg were kung saan is the brain, part ng brain natin, yung center ng brain. Under this premise, the simulation of the certain nervous system component, yung pinakang center part ng brain natin, which can thus be identified for automatically through the involuntary mental and emotional process of almost every person who is consciously and defensively intent. So here, you can see yung pinakang unang leg niya were the brain. Very important is the brain. So ang sabi nga natin kanina, when I say it, yung kaunahan is very important po yung consciousness ng subject. Kasi ito yung pinakang unang component na dapat maintindihan or naintindihan niya yung sitwasyon. So here, emotionally or the process of almost every person, lahat tayo, mag-start yan from the brain, not the heart, but start with the brain. So here, another leg is kanina kung nakita natin is the psychological pa rin. Part pa rin ito yung physiological changes where can be recorded and identify this manner are some which automatically occur and only occur through the simulation of specific nervous system. Here you can see the body. So yan yung parts niya. Once na gumalaw, lahat ng parts niyan is nag-active or may kumbaga active yan. Hindi pwedeng natutulog lang yung isang parts ng katawan niya. Especially yung brain and lahat ng parts dyan. Ang tawag dyan, and only occur through the same stimulation of specific nervous system component through that brain, where does permit the identification of the scientific nervous or nervous system component simulated. Lahat sila. Kasama na din yung kidney, kasama na din yung sa ating bladder, yung sa ating parts sa ating blood, yung pag-circulate ng blood, and everything on that physiological. That's why combination from the brain and the physical parts. That's why we say that physiological changes. Where that two, itong dalawa, psychological, that part ng leg, were included ito yung sa baba, another leg, where the instrument as forensic polygraph. Ito na yung mismong instrument na nire-record niya. Nakukuha niya from that physiological changes on the psychological changes, nakukuha niya to and it become now the mechanically graph or getting the graph now. So if you can notice from the physiological changes from which changes themselves can be identified. Like for here, you can see the different graph from the presentation that could get the color red is the blood pressure from the bottom. You see also the sweat duct activity where ito yung sa ating sinasabi nating skin resistance. If that is the skin resistance is like that, yung nakikita yung negative 3 dyan, meaning it is deceptive ang basa dyan. Kasi nga, medyo malaki-laki yung niya. Kasi mostly, ang huli pong gumagana dyan or mabagal na gumalaw po is the part ng skin. The stomach breathing, yung pangatlo were color green, and the chest breathing. So yan, yung recorded. So by that leg, yung tatlo, the psychological, physiological, and mechanical are the basic part dun sa kinukuha natin in that polygraph or lie detection test. Okay, that graph will be understand uli mamaya. May mga sample naman po ako niyan. And why yung mga intervals niyan may mga different colors? Because dito po, sa sample ko dito sa presentation ko ngayon is magkaiba po kasi yung polygraph ng machine natin kasi meron po tayong tinatawag na analog and meron po tayong computerized. So naka-computerize po tayo ngayon kaya mas madali mo siyang ma-analyze and makikita mo kasi kaagad unlike doon sa analog. Okay. That is the topic number 4 and then the topic number 5, the human body system. Again, almost connected siya with that topic 4, but again, to review about the nervous system. The person, how important the brain or the central nervous system and the neurological function of the brain. So here, yung mga division, just to have a review lang naman on our part. Kasi para lang makita natin, I know some of you, kasi tinitake naman ninyo yan. So, yung under ng central nervous system, we have yung sinasabi nating CNS, is the brain and the spinal cord. Where siya nagdi-deliver from the spinal cord, siya nagdi-deliver from the brain going to the other parts of the body. Another, the peripheral nervous system, where somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. And then, under that, meron tayong sympathetic and parasympathetic. And may mga illustration tayo dyan mamaya. Another po, about the central nervous system, the very important also parts is the forebrain. And ang brain po natin kasi, may nagre-restore siya ng mga memories. In that case, kahit ganun lang siya, na makita natin na may maliit siya dyan and the center where nag-store ng memories. Kaya kapag tinanong yung isang individual, i-stimulate, nakukuha or nadidetect niya yan. Another parts, the central nervous system, yung mayroon tayong left and right. So, bakit natin to sinishare? Kasi mayroong differences din po when it comes to this. Pag ang left po natin na part, where mostly, again, ang sabi natin is verbal competence or dito sa kabila is non-verbal. Opposite po sila. That's why minsan magsasabi tayo, bakit hindi mo kasi kaagad naintindihan? O baka naman kasi ang brain na nag-a-active sa kanya itong sa left kasi baka hindi nakukuha through comprehension dun sa right. Kasi may magkaiba sila. Reading, speaking, thinking, reasoning, dun yun sa left. Sa comprehension naman, meron siya dun sa right. And the same with the process information sequence is also as a whole intuitive. Magkaano siya. But the same, nasa isang tao lang yan. Although kung kailan lang siya nagpo-process, sometimes nagpapalit-palit din yan. The important for the expression of the positive emotion, and once again sa right is yung negative emotion. Kaya merong tao na minsan, sige lang, okay lang, relax lang, kasi we are happy. Parang happy person. But yung brain niya kasing gumagana sa kanya is the left. Why? Sometimes you are not good. Yung expression of negative emotion. Sometimes, I'm not happy for now. I'm not good for now. Parang gano'n na, parang something na sabi nga. That is yung right hemisphere niya, yung gumagana. Another, the damage to the left hemisphere lead to loss of the capacity of joy. Kaya nakakatakot po. Dapat maiwasan natin na ma-damage yung left hemisphere natin kasi baka mawala yung capacity of joy. Also, the damage of right hemisphere naman, it become euphoric. Okay? And the activation in the left hemisphere leads to tendencies to approach other people. Kapag active yung left hemisphere mo, andun yung time mo or chances mo na very active ka to talk with the people, parang you are happy. But ito naman, kapag yung activation naman ng right hemisphere mo lead to tendencies to withdraw from people. Sabi mo, I'm not good today, don't talk to me, parang that is the situation. So yan, yung left and right hemisphere natin, where kaya minsan masabi kayo, ano nga ngunya na daw, may ganon, kasi wag mo nang kausapin, kasi yun yung gumagana sa kanya. Possible yung right hemisphere. So, yan yung differences. And also, serving the activator of the body, kasi importante po yun. The nervous system through the brain and all the nerve tissues receive, evaluate, integrate, and store any stimulus growth to the body from environment. And the same rate, the system send out message to the various part of organs for the specific response. That's why our brain, importante yon na pag nag-receive siya ng stimulus or coming outside. That's why po, once we are conducting the polygraph examination, we are avoiding yung very noise or any distraction, kasi if that is the stimulus received by the sensor, pwedeng hindi man yung tinatanong mo yung pwedeng isinasagot nung reaction niya, but yung ingay sa labas or baka yung ibang nadinig niya. Tapos babasahin mo siya as deceptive. So that is the difference. Okay? So to illustrate how neuron system operate in the body, here is a simple layout of the here is the simple layout of the chain reaction process. Thus, first, the stimulus is given by a way of pricking a needle into the finger. So imagine, once na nag-prick tayo ng try nating tusukin yung ating daliri, the brain receiving. Alin ang una, bago tayo nasaktan, ang unang nun is the brain, serving as the highest quarter for the system. So remember, the brain is the highest, not the heart. It's not activated and thus awakened. Magigising ka or parang magugulat ka, but it received by the brain. As breaking start with the fingers, such stimulus is immediately received by the receptor. It received by receptor. Although, ang brain, activated, syempre, lahat tayo parang biglang nagulat ka. So, there is a reaction. Another, this receptor of the senses will convert energy to receive impressment from. So, ito na yun. Syempre, yung sight. Yan yung, kaya nga, once na tayo, may tamang room. Discuss natin yun mamaya. Kasi yung sight natin is also important. Kasi isa siya sa receptor. Very important receptor. Hearing. Yan. Also, smell or yung olfactory organ natin, including our nose. Kasi yung pag-smell natin, sometimes kasama din yung natin, not only the nose, but syempre yung mouth natin, nakakasagap na rin yan, sabay-sabay na. Taste, or yung gustatory organ involving tongue. The touch through skin and muscle. Itong extrasensory reception, hindi lahat ng tao meron ito. Sixth sense through the mind and memory. That's why may mga nag-study within the drama, yung kaya nilang magpaangat ng tao or something. Ito yung mga sinasabi nating extrasensory perception. Kinesthesis, a very important sense for give information about the movements of parts of the body with respect to one another. Yung paggalaw. Equilibratory or equilibratory sense where inform the other parts of the body out movement of the head in space. So yan yung mga receptors natin. Okay, so we have two division of autonomic nervous system. We have the parasympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system, yung binanggit natin kanina, and the parasympathetic. So yung sabi natin kanina is through energy or action, yung paggalaw niya, yun yung sympathetic, yung pagkilos, and then parasympathetic is the housekeeping or braking system. Yung parang I need brake, parang ganito. So yan, ito yun, mga parts na yan were in the brain, coming from the brain also. So if you can notice, yung parasympathetic is nakaturo yung arrow natin or yung line, yung sa may part ng mata rin. Pero on the other part, yung sympathetic, syempre, delivered doon sa backbone or yung part nun, yung pinakang dulo ng backbone. So you can notice from that illustration, the different parts of the body that yung parasympathetic and sympathetic parts, where nagkakaroon siya ng chain of sympathetic ganglia. So yan. So yung different parts niyan, may nandiyan yung stimulate flow of saliva, that part, nandiyan sa may medulla oblongata, and then slow heartbeat also, then constrict bronchi, stimulate peristalsis and other secretion dyan sa part ng stomach, and also stimulate release of the bile dyan sa may liver, and then contract bladder. So yan. So pag sa sympathetic naman, this part, so the deflate pupil, inhibits flow of saliva, so may controlling siya. And then accelerate the heartbeat, dilate bronchi, and then exhibit peristalsis and secretion under part of the stomach also, and then conversion of glycogen and glucose also, secretion of the adrenaline and noradrenaline, and also inhibit the bladder construction. So yan, importante po yan. Kung makita nyo bakit may mga connection. So yan yung mga parts ng body where nag-affect, nag-connect. That's why it is recorded into the polygraph. Another, autonomic nervous system response. Ito yung mga response niya. Sa sympathetic response, syempre fight kasi active siya. Sa parasympathetic response, rest and digest. Parang sige lang, relax lang. So that are. Okay. The circulatory system, part ng body. So kanina binanggit natin is nakafocus siya within the brain. That's why nakita natin yung deliveries through to the other parts. But here, circulatory system, kasi ito yung isang kinukuha ng machine, is yung pagdating dun sa how it circulate, yung blood natin, and then the very important one na nagbibigay or nagdi-deliver ng blood to our other parts of the body is through the action of the heart. That's why heart, kung pababayaan heart, kasi napakahalaga po niyan. Where the oxygen-rich blood, yan, kung paano yan nagsisirculate, there is a blue and then the red arrow. So we can see the enters the heart from the lungs and goes out to the body. Kaya dapat continuous siya, walang bara. Enters the heart from the body and goes out to the lungs. Kita natin yung kulay blue. So yan yung difference niyan. Where ito yung pag-pump niyan, pagbibigay niya ng lakas, yung tamang pump niyan, it will help the brain and other parts of the body for the activation. That's why vertical section of the brain showing middle cerebral artery. Yan. Ipinakikita dyan yung pag-deliver nung blood going to the brain. So kapag hindi maganda at may blood clotting on the part of the brain, you can see kung okay yung heart, the problem naman is kung may problema, may bara naman going to the part of the head or to the parts of the brain. So yun yung mga clotting. So yan yung mga sinasabi nagkakaroon ng mga high blood or yung pagbabara sa brain or sa part ng arteries ng brain. So yan, sa circulatory system also, parts ng circulation po na because of the heart, it pump and then it goes to the other parts of the body, all parts of the body. So yan, I'm showing to you the pictures of the arteries kung saan dumadaan po yung circulation ng bloods, where it is very important. The respiratory. So this is another one, the third one important part, aside from the brain, the heart, and the respiratory. So in respiratory, it is for taking air into the lungs and also expelling carbon dioxide. So here, because of the lungs, so we can have our good function of the body also. So isang pinakamahalaga pa rin, where the left and the right lungs natin, and then the heart. So this respiratory system, like the nervous and circulatory, is equally important to lie detection. We know that that we can live for 40 days or more without food, but we can survive for 3 days without water, but we die within minutes without oxygen. Its function is automatic. Actually, sabi ko nga, I cannot live for 40 days without food. So, yun yung reference ko. Sabi ko, 40 days talaga. So, siguro, if there is water naman, it's still, they can live. But here, the important here is the respiratory. The oxygen how important the oxygen to the person. So, yun, showing that to that. Where here are those parts kung saan yung gumagamit tayo nung paghinga natin, pag-inhale and exhale, and then yung functions niya. So, yan yung mga areas kung saan dumadaan yung hangin. So, the next, that is only a review naman for us. Another, the breathing capacity. An average person can breathe in about 2,000 cc of air and can expel about 3,500 cc. So, yan, yung pag-breathing, pag-inhale and exhale natin. We can breath only for that ng 2,000 cc lang. Pero mas marami ang kaya nating ilabas na hangin once we are doing or exhaling it. The breathing pattern or cycle is not constant, even if a good health, because it's modified by all type of influence, both voluntary or involuntary. That is true. And breathing natin is affected kapag yung sinasabi natin na hindi mo inaasahan, parang nagsi-shortage ka ng paghinga, is because pwedeng natatakot ka or pwedeng kinakabahan ka. Kaya yung iba po, if you can notice, kapag sa sobrang takot na himatay na, nagsushort na, kasi nga, yung yung pattern niya na apektuhan. So, the typical example of influences affecting breathing pattern are coughing, yung pag-ubo, clearing the throat clearing of throat, yung sign, and then sniffing or burping, laughing, and yawning. Mostly ito, ma-encounter po natin ito sa subject kapag nagkakandak ng polygraph examination. That's why we are also looking at the subject once we are conducting examination. Kasi itong pag-burp niya or pag-sniff, yung pagsingot niya, possible na maapektuhan po yung graph. And isa siya sa dapat nating ino-note. As it has been pointed out, temperature, humidity, attitude, and posture also affect the respiration rates. So, yan po, about that. So, we have the next is the skin or excretory system. Ito na po yung pang-apat na parts na kung saan kinukuhaan po natin ng measurements or ng, ng graph. So here, the parts of the skin, I know you are familiar with that already. So it defined as the external covering of the body, consisting essentially of the epidermis, the dermis, and corium. That are the parts of the skin, where yung pinakang taas, and then meron tayong middle, and then meron tayong pinakang bottom niyan. The anatomical composition of epidermis have 4 layers of stratified epithelium, where the corium is composed of connective tissue containing lymphatic nerves and nerve ending, blood vessel, sebaceous and sweat gland, and elastic fiber. That's why our skin is important kasi it release yung sinasabi natin na energy. May nagre-release yan ng yung pamamawis natin that could be say na nakukuha or nare-record siya. Ito yung pinakang part na kung saan in polygraph, yung sabi ko sa inyo kanina na medyo mabagal or medyo huli siyang nare-record, pero mostly kapag dito ka tumingin, mas nakukuha niya or mas talagang may effect sa kanya. Kasi ito yung hindi makontrol ng tao. Yung paghinga, you can control, you can relax yourself, yung sinasabi natin na sa blood, but pagdating dito sa skin, it cannot be controlled by the individual. Next, the skin has the following basic function: protection against injury and parasitic invasion. There is also regulation of body temperature. Kasi as we know, unang-una, pag sa una, syempre yung mga gas-gas o nakaka-protect siya sa atin. Also, yung regulation sa body temperature. Just imagine if we don't have a skin. So, syempre, yung outside temperature, yung sobrang lamig, sobrang init, it cannot, you cannot say na mabubuhay ka pa niyan kasi sa sobrang hirap siguro. And also, an aid and elimination of the body waste product. So here, because of that, the waste or yung sinasabi nating pamamawis or coming from the skin. Okay, the skin response or yung reflex or yung maririnig nyo lagi yung GSR or yung galvanography or yung galvanic is the record that changes in the subject increase or decrease resistance to the constant electrical current generated through an amplifier, recording the galvanometer and rectifier of the polygraph. Isa sa parts ng polygraph machine natin yan. Yung galvanometer or galvanometer. Another is also temperature and humidity affect the sweat gland. Kapag masyadong malamig, di masyadong pinapawisan. Pero kung may stimulus, kung may mga itinatanong tayo dun sa subject, kahit medyo malamig yan, pamamawisan pa rin yan or mag-effect pa rin yan. Although, you cannot see it physically, but dun sa part na kung saan nakakabit yung kanyang yung accessories natin dyan, that could affect also. Maano na, kung may actual nga, makikita yon. Also could environment decrease, sweating enhances urination and dehydration. So yan. So when it comes to the skin. Okay. So next, so then yung 4 parts na yan. So again, part pa rin ng skin. If an individual is guilty, he will respond emotionally to question related to his crime. It is true that impossible that such individual being aware of his emotion. Ando na yung fear reaction. That is, can suppress the same by inhibiting involuntary internal or external response. Yun na ngayon. Sabi natin, ang hirap nung i-control. It by controlling outward sign of bodily response, indicative of guilt, such as paleness, mamumutla, dryness, yung of the mouth, or nervousness, yung halata mong pagka-nervous niya. Yet, he cannot control his internal physiological changes brought about by his fear reaction, especially his blood pressure and heart action, his respiration rate, and his galvanic skin, or yung GSR, producing sweat and skin resistance, or sweat skin resistance. So, ito yung parts na kung saan yung huling na-discover pero mahalaga din the parts of polygraphy.